Hey, this is Grant. Today I'm going to walk you through collections as we're going to be developing it for VMS Crux. We already have basic collections that exist within the system, but we're doing some revisions and modifications to how we navigate through those collections, how we manage them, and also some other things that I'll walk you through. So here we are. When you click into the prototype, you'll either land on here, which is a welcome page for the prototype, or you'll land directly on VMS Collections, depending on which link you followed. So let me show you how you would get here, first of all, within the navigation structure of Crux. So within Crux, if I'm looking at the home page and I see dashboard, go into VMS Crux here, and then there's the secondary navigation up here. Go to View and Collection. Let me show you how this looks currently on Dev. Going to VMS right here, and then View Collection. So this is Dev. I only see a few things, one collection in this case. And if we click into that, this is what it looks like. So we have a couple connections here. We have no assets tied to this, but just to give you an idea as to what this looks like now currently. So let me go back to the prototype, and I'm going to collapse this menu so that we can have full workable space. So this collections index contains all the collections within the system. Each collection is essentially at level 0 because we're not assigning a hierarchy to these. We're only allowing collections to be referenced within other collections, but essentially, again, they all exist at level 0. So there could be 5 collections, there could be 10,000. If there's 10,000, we have a pagination device here. So that's what that looks like. The person can refine with keywords. If they're looking for a particular collection name, they can type it in here. The results would dynamically refresh here. If they want to, for example, view only bonus collections, they can click bonus, and then same with image, video, movie, and collection. Now, just to briefly describe what a collection is, it's essentially, so say you have a collection of movies and videos together. Say it's summer 2017 hits. If I want to include that collection within another collection, it then becomes a collection of a collection. So that's what this is. Sometimes it's referred to as mixed collection in subsequent pages. Nomenclature can be adjusted. So from here, if I click New Collection, it takes me to the existing, already functional page where I can define the collection title, movie, or the type, all that stuff. So that's not what we're focusing on right now. So back to this. Clicking into a collection, you'll notice a few things that are slightly different here. It's all pretty much the same, except if we scroll down to Assets and Contents, these two containers are usually collapsed. We want them expanded in this particular case. It's just one last click. So what we're focusing on for the collection page itself is this contents panel. The contents of this collection are 4 movies, a mixed collection, which contains its own things, and then 3 videos. So if I were to click into this, I see a mixed collection contains this contents. So from the collection browser perspective, each of these line items highlights when you roll over it. When you roll over it, you see a delete icon and also a reorder indicator. This is a nod to Material UI. In fact, this is the convention that they use. It used to be, in some cases, on the left in some of my earlier stuff, but it's now on the right to get out of the way, but yet be useful. So when I mouse over this, I can delete an item if I want. So delete it, shifts everything up. these line items would, of course, reorder. For prototype purposes, I didn't do that though. At this point, I could collapse all these. I could expand all. If there are a huge number of collections, we're estimating that nesting-wise, there could be approximately 5 or 6 on average levels deep that we would show here. Let me show you, as we're talking about it, an example of what this would look like with 10. So let me navigate over to some states that I diagrammed out. So this panel right here is what we see here. It's the same thing, more or less, except in this case, all the trash can icons are showing. So this shows level 0, or sorry, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100, yada, yada. Worst case, 10 levels deep. I mean, of course, it could go deeper, but this shows you that within this constrained width that we have, we could comfortably fit 10 if we needed to, nested levels. If we want to do more, we could probably talk about expanding the actual width that is available for this component. But that's down the road. I don't think we'll have to deal with it. That's more of an edge case. But just to show, this can scale. Well, I had it. Yeah, this can scale. So it's designed to be flexible. So back to this. Not shown within the prototype actively or functionally, you can click and drag any of these items to any other item or any place within this list or into a collection. And I'll show you that as it's diagrammed out here. Let's see, there's some sample states. Okay, we're going to go to, now this example of line items is not the same as this. This is the refined version. For time's sake, this is showing the old style because I had already diagrammed it out. So we're going to go down to reordering line items. That's what we were talking about. In this case, so I've clicked and held my mouse button down. So on mouse down, if I were to just let go, it wouldn't do anything. If I were to click here and let go, it would, of course, expand the tree or the collection. So if I click and hold and then drag somewhere else within this list, there's two possible use cases. One is I'm dragging to the same level as neighboring items, wherever I'm dragging it to, or I'm making it, I want to keep it on the same level. I would drag it not onto a collection, like how I see here. So the second case is if I'm dragging it to within another collection at any level. That shows that if I'm dragging it to C, C would be encompassed with a bounding box like this, whereas if I'm just dragging it to be still on the same level as B and C, but just in a different order, this bar is shown here. So two use cases. One, we can drag to the same level as neighboring items, in which case it shows clearly like this, or dragging it to within another collection at any level, which shows like this. So here we see the result here. So A is now after B, but before C. In this case, A is part of C, or is a child of C, and B and C are the parents at the root level. So that's essentially the collection browser in a nutshell. Within the prototype, I have a handy-dandy link to UX interaction rules. This is actually, let's see if this loads. Oh, yes. This shows all the different states, interaction states for line items, what happens with mouse over, when it's selected. Please note that selected state, I'm not so sure about because it doesn't really provide, there's not really a good use case for it. So you can select it and then what? Doesn't, the only useful time when that is the case is when you have a collection expanded. And here I see that this is selected, and these are all the children that are part of that selection, because if I do anything like delete, and then or reorder, it's going to drag this and its contents wherever I drag it to or delete it. So in the case of expanded but not selected, this may be the default. So I also go into, I showed you the pressure test, and then I have some just illustration or example states. So Here we have default with all nodes collapsed. Collection node has been expanded. Content selected by default, shown here. Child line item of a parent collection node has been selected. So in the previous state I showed you, this was selected and all the children were highlighted or selected as well. If I were to click just movie George of the Jungle, I would see that here, but again, not really sure that provides a benefit, the selection state. And then what might be the more likely case is nothing in the list has been selected. I could click and drag. As I highlight or roll over these, the icon, the trash icon would appear, meaning that I could delete it or click that to delete. And that's pretty much it. So that's what is linked from this UX interaction rules, click for details button here.